All right, welcome back to the Roast to Yourself podcast brought to you by Coffee Bean Corral and Current Crop Roasting Shop. My name is Stephen Burnett with Coffee Bean Corral in Jackson, Mississippi. And with me, as always, is Catherine Mansell, Certified Q Grader and Director of Current Crop Roasting Shop and more in New Orleans, Louisiana. We'll talk about that in a second. Catherine, how are you doing this week?
This week has been very, very busy. Lots of roasting, lots of trying, lots of dialing in espresso. Lots and lots going on down here at Current Crop.
Awesome. Dialing in espresso. Why are you guys dialing in espresso? That's not what you've been doing.
So, no, it's not. It's something relatively new, but something we've been working on for a long time. And we've hinted a few different times over the podcast that there has been an announcement we've been waiting to let you guys in on. And this episode will actually come out on Friday, which is the grand opening day of Current Crop's Espresso Bar.
Yes. So depending on when we upload this, you may have time to drive down to New Orleans and go get an espresso made by Catherine and the amazing team there. Tell us a little bit about how this came about and like what all this means for the future of Current Crop, the blend, like all this stuff. So give us the lowdown. 30 seconds, go.
Oh yeah, I'd love to. It really, when we opened, we had no specific plan to add a cafe to the business. You know, we're almost 3 years old now, and over the past 2.5 years, all of our customers that come in weekly and roast coffee have always hinted at us, hey, it'd be really great if while I was here, I could also get a cup of coffee. You know, we've always had samples that people can try, but we've never had any espresso drinks or any actual cups of coffee with any steamed milk, anything like that. And the amount of people who walk in the shop and are looking for a cup of coffee, and we have sadly only been able to give them samples. It didn't take too long for us to realize after, you know, like I said, a lot of hints from our customers, that a cafe just seemed like the next logical step. We have so many really amazing coffees here that we think people should experience. We did something a little bit interesting. When we bought the new San Remo 2 Group espresso machine, we bought it with the intention of serving 2 different kinds of espresso. So we've created a house blend that is a more traditional tasting espresso. Now I blended Peru Esperanza with Guatemala La Flor del Cafe, the regular version. And I did it half and half. Guatemala's got a lot of really chocolatey notes in it. The Peruvian has a lot of malty, cedar, earthiness to it. That blending them 50-50 gives you a really big body, very, very low acidity, but malty, chocolatey espresso. So if people are used to traditional espresso, when they come in and order a latte, they can say, I want the latte with the house blend. The other group on the San Remo is set up and dialed in for the single origin of the month. So the first one we're going to do is a micro lot that we have down here at Current Crop called El Salvador Finca La Fanny Natural. It's more of it's incredible, yes. But it's more of a walnut, dried fruit, red apple, natural process. So people have the opportunity, if they want to see what espresso is like with a single origin, that it's maybe a little bit more on the funky side, they'll have a chance to do that as well. So giving people options to, you know, stay more traditional or step out of the box. And then each month we'll change out that single origin and sort of go through all the 70 coffees that we have and keep doing that. Yeah.
I think that's awesome. It's definitely a unique experience it's not just a normal coffee shop because it's Current Crop, so it can't just be a normal coffee shop. You've got so many coffees at your fingertips. Most shops have maybe a dozen options, you know, in terms of like at their disposal to roast and do. And Current Crop is just sitting there on stacks and stacks of unroasted coffee. And whenever you get a whim to try something different or funky or weird or new, you can just do it. So it's a great experience. And I mean, I think with so many coffee shops popping up everywhere now, like it's easier and easier to open a shop and not know anything about coffee. Like whenever you ask, you may ask your barista, and if you have a knowledgeable barista, that's amazing. But sometimes you'll ask a question and you're like, oh, this person, like this might as well be a McFlurry that they're talking about right now for all they know about it, right? And so with that, you're getting the options, you're getting the freshly roasted, we did this, and you're getting the knowledgeable staff at the same time. So same Current Crop you've grown to know and love, and yet you can get a delicious espresso shot, seasonal beverage, all kinds of good stuff. And the response has been pretty wild.
Yeah, we did a soft open on Black Friday. And there was a line out of the door. And it was really interesting because the majority of the people that were in were not faces that I had seen before. So it was most people's first time coming into Current Crop. And one side of the business is more our POS systems and the classroom, and the other side is where people roast coffee. So when you come in for the cafe side, you don't really see that other side, but there were people in there roasting. So what I did to try to let people see what we actually do here besides serve coffee is on the roasting side of the shop, that's where all the sugars and the honeys and the fixings are. So when you get your latte, if you want to add something to it, which it happens, people like to add stuff to it, we have a section for that. You have to walk into onto the side where people are roasting coffee to fix your drink and put your top on it. So you saw people come in, go and grab their tops, then come back around and go, what are they doing in there? Why does it smell so good? It's like, this is Current Crop. We're roasting coffee in here. You can get a cup of coffee. We can teach you how to roast coffee. I mean, everything that you need coffee-wise, it's in one spot now.
I love that. I think that is an incredible thing. And it's something, like I said, that the space is so good for it already. Like it's y'all put so much into making the space so lovely and education heavy that getting people to kind of sit and stay a while is only going to promote that mission of bringing more people into coffee roasting, educating them where coffee comes from, and all the things that Current Crop has been doing this entire time. So, very, very excited. Congratulations on getting it done. It's been a project and a half, I know. And getting everything, while the whole time still running Current Crop to full capacity as it has been running, and you're like, let me just have a second job as a person who's starting a coffee shop at the same time. So it's been super cool. But congratulations on the grand opening, which is today, because we're launching this on Friday, and that is today. So that is amazing. Well, okay, well done. Well, we don't normally just make announcements. That's not what this podcast is. We like to make announcements, but that's not what it is. Well, this is a podcast where we answer people's questions about coffee. And so each week we set aside about 10 minutes to field questions from home roasters and professionals alike about roasting, tasting, and most importantly, enjoying coffee. You can send your questions to questions@riypod.com. That's questions@riypod.com. A nice shout out from us in an upcoming episode, and of course to get your question answered. This week's question comes from Marlon, who writes, "Hey guys, I really enjoy the show. You pack a lot of info into 10 minutes. Probably longer than 10 minutes today, Marlon. Sorry. Here's my question. I roast at home using a Vmore 1600. I roast a half pound at a time and usually 2 to 3 roasts at a setting. My current beans are from CBC and they're great." Glad to hear it, Marlon. Thank you. My question is, I reuse the Mylar coffee bags for different coffees. Is that okay? Keep up the great work and hope you have a wonderful Christmas, Marlon. Marlon, thank you so much for the question. Catherine, is this like a bad thing to reuse coffee storage?
No, but I think you need to be mindful of specific roast levels. Darker roasts are going to leave the oil and more residue on the inside of the bag. So I wouldn't put, a light roast, very fruity coffee into a bag that I used for a really dark roast, earthy coffee. I reuse bags all the time, but I keep it sort of within the same sort of roast level or within the same flavor profile. Just to make sure there's nothing that's left over in the bag that's going to go into the beans, because coffee beans just sort of pull in everything that's around it. Yeah. So I would just be mindful and keep everything either the same sort of process, same sort of roast levels, so nothing switches over to mess up anything for your new
And
coffee.
even so, it doesn't hurt to take a paper towel and wipe the bag out, especially if it's an oily coffee.
That's
Sometimes you wipe the bag out, this goes for any coffee storage really. You wipe it out, you get most of the oils up, but it still smells like if you did a dark roast, that dark roast. So think about that. Like, you don't want to take these things and wash them with soap and water, because then you're introducing like the chemical, the kind of cleaning chemicals into the mix there that the next coffee bean will probably absorb as well. So it can be like you can do a lot of work to reuse them, or you can do what you say and just keep it to the family of how you roast the coffee, and do a little wipe out with a paper towel just to grab those oils that might stick onto the next beans. But other than that, I think reusing storage is a really good idea. It's economical as heck, and they're designed for that. They can only be sealed and torn open, of course, one time. But the Ziploc feature, they're not. Ziploc is not sponsoring this podcast. They should, but they're not. But the Ziploc little feature you can reuse over and over again, and I do that. I do that a lot. I've got a stack of bags at home that I just will bring a couple up here when I'm ready to roast for myself and scoop in there, because waste not, want not. Waste not, want not. Well, Marlon, thank you so much for the question. You should absolutely go down to Current Crop and get some coffee beans to put in those bags and get a delicious drink while you're at it. Catherine, did we leave anything out of this response on storage?
I don't think so.
Like a swish.
I think it's this one's a good one.
There you go. Well, Marlon, thank you so much for the question. Dear listeners, if you have a different perspective or think we dropped the ball, or you're super excited about going to Current Crop's espresso bar, definitely leave that in the comments. Share on your social media, your Facebook, and all that good stuff. Because we got some good things going on here. We want to share that with the world, and it just helps us reach more people when you do that. We're excited to watch the Roast Yourself podcast grow and continue to take over the world and reach more people. We cannot do that without you. Also, be sure to like and follow our social media accounts for Current Crop and Coffee Bean Corral. You'll get more updates like this announcement right here. You would have already known, right? If you were signed up for Current Crop's social media, you would already know about this. It wouldn't even be in enough. Like, old news. I found that out. So definitely go on there and be up to date, be the first to know about these things. We could not do this podcast without the folks that handle our audio and video and graphic work and make the podcast look and sound good. Thank you so much for all you do. And our coworkers that give us time and space to be able to record these things, answer your questions, and generally have a great time. Remember to send any questions you have about coffee in general or coffee roasting in particular to questions@riypod.com. Otherwise, have a great day and happy roasting.
Thanks, Marlon.